Hello everybody and welcome back to the RORSRPS Season 2 Qualifier. My name is Preston Vieira and we are now down to our final week of qualifying, and by final week I mean our final 2 episodes. We now officially have 2 out of our 3 tours completely full. So this week's qualifiers will all be placed on the All-Star Challenge Tour, and your votes will dictate which team our new qualifiers will be placed on, Team Thunder or Team Mayhem. Remember, you can join in the tour placement voting process for all of this week's qualifiers by heading over to the RORSRPS Instagram this weekend, Saturday, February 24th. That's at RORSRPS. Drop a follow and keep an eye on my story because every vote counts. Also, huge shout out and thank you to everyone who participated this past weekend. I believe that was a Season 2 record for participation. But as usual, please consider subscribing if you enjoyed tonight's event and want to keep up with qualifiers or catch the soon-to-come Season 2 featuring 3 Tours of Chaos and a new larger total of 48 main field trucks. But here on YouTube, you're only getting half the RORSRPS experience, so don't forget to head over to Instagram this weekend so you can be a decision maker. And as I mentioned, we already filled up 2 of our 3 tours, and after tonight, we'll only have 3 spots left to fill for Season 2, so get your opinions heard. Follow that RORSRPS Instagram. Also, don't forget to head over to Dubby.gg and check them out. Dubby has a lot of flavors for energy and hydration powders. Everything from mango peach in the beach and peach energy tub to strawberry pineapple in their pineberry splash hydration blend and more. They have some awesome stickers and merch as well on Dubby.gg. So get hydrated, get energized, and support the RORSRPS channel by taking 10% off Dubby's wide range of flavors using code RORSRPS. But now let's finish finding our picks for our first bracket of the night. Twister debuting here on this channel for the first time in Nam's truck. Black Panther getting picked from the full selection wheel this time around. BroCamino, another one debuting for the first time on this channel. BakuganDragonoid, a Werewolf node beam truck. Now, we did have BakuganDragonoid in Season 1 all season long in the main field, but he was not the Werewolf node beam version. He was a typical V4, so we'll see how the Werewolf version does this time around. Here's a look at your full lineup for our picks tonight. We're going to shuffle this up 3 times, and that will give us our official racing seeds for our first round and our first bracket of the night. There it is right there. Let's take a look at your first round for tonight in your first bracket. Twister is going to be taking on Black Panther. Punisher will take on Little Tiger. Grinder will face off against Infected. Introvert is going to take on Whiplash, that Werewolf node beam truck. Kraken will face off against ScoobyDoo. MonsterMut is going to take on BroCamino. EarthShaker will face off against IceSkeleDragon. And BakuganDragonoid will take on PureAdrenaline to close out round 1. And this is definitely an interesting lineup of trucks. A lot of customs in this one, a lot of Werewolf trucks, and a lot of returning trucks that, getting another shot getting into Season 2. We'll see how they do here. As Black Panther is on your right, Twister on your left. Other way around, Twister on your right, Black Panther on your left. We're launching off that starting line and going green for your first race of the night. It was a busy weekend over here at RORSRPS, so yeah, I'm a little laggy in the brain still. But Twister going long to low in the first gap here on the first floor. Of course, he's a NAMPS truck. Those NAMPS trucks typically do that, and they struggle in the turns. We'll see if Twister can keep these turns under control as we head into the slalom. Black Panther with a nice lead on Twister. He's been here quite a few times now. I believe this might be his 5th or 6th attempt here. And maybe this time, any time could be your one. You know what I mean? The one that gives you that Season 2 qualification. Twister just a little too far behind to really do anything, but that is to be expected with these NAMPS trucks. Black Panther looking good as we head up onto the bridge. Gets tripped up on the car and hung up on that center divide. He's going to need to straighten that truck out, which is going to slow him down, but Twister's getting into some trouble of his own on the bridge. So he is just as much as he gained, he lost right back. Heading into the tunnel, though, Twister coming up short. Black Panther a little all over the place through the rollers on the bottom floor. But we are now onto the bottom floor, looking for the gap for Black Panther. Coming up just short, big wheelie from Black Panther. Twister trying to get up and through the gap here. He is going to have to go long to low, but that is to be expected again from a NAMPS truck. They just don't have the top end to get across that gap. And if you've been here before, I sound like a broken record, of course. I've been saying this for 21 episodes now, but it's a fact, man. And our new viewers are gonna have to get told what's up, because they're gonna be asking me why I, am not driving not driving hard enough with that twister truck. But nope, just namped. That's just how it works against the V4s. Black Panther on to the next round here in episode 21, our first bracket. We are coming down to the wire. Episode 22 is our final episode, and we got something special planned. Not only do we have a 3-event episode, so it is going to be a longer episode, but we also are going to be our final event is going to be all trucks that I've chosen, just for why not? I want to see some trucks in season 2, so that is essentially all of my requests from this qualifying window. Little Tiger up and over, taking on Punisher here in round 1, taking on the Jackrabbit. It is both trucks getting nice clean landings there, and good leads into that gap here on the first floor. Punisher has been here a couple times, has made it really far up the bracket. He's been in the finals once, and in the semifinals, I believe, twice. He is a very capable truck. It's all about if tonight is his night, especially taking on Little Tiger. We've seen Little Tiger here before. Once he was a finalist as well, and the other time, I believe, also a semi-finalist. So these two are pretty evenly matched as far as how far up the bracket they've gone. It's just, whose night is it? Little Tiger going for a big spin there in that elevated start turn, or that starting elevation turn. Punisher gaining a nice lead on Little Tiger for now, but can Little Tiger catch up as we head into the bottom floor? He's in trouble as we head back down to the first floor. Punisher getting a nice clean downside to transfer into that tunnel. Little Tiger not too bad, but it's all Punisher as we're down to the bottom floor looking for the gap. How's Punisher going to do it here? He does get a solid landing on here when he tries to clear it, and doesn't necessarily give you the best picture of what I'm talking about when he takes it like that, but Little Tiger going long to low, so that is going to slow him down, letting Punisher expand his gap and head to round 2 if he can just get around this turn nice and clean. Let's take a look here. Not bad. Super tight, big slide all the way around it. Little Tiger, a nice clean turn, but too far behind for that to matter. It is all Punisher over the finish line, and he is on to round 2 here. Little Tiger goes down in round 1. Just a bit too many mistakes this time around. Of course, we haven't seen this version of Little Tiger on this qualifying window, so new truck and it just doesn't work for him like the other one did. Grinder coming out next on your right, and he'll be taking on Infected. Now, we've seen Infected here before. He did not do well at all. Lost in round 1, and they haven't changed the truck at all, so I'm not seeing that being any different this time around. Grinder on your right was on the our first season of ROR SRPS, did relatively well, made it to the World Finals, got his qualification, took a couple racing wins on the Sponsor Showdown Tour. Infected going long to low in that first gap, which is just going to get this run kind of off to a bad start. I mean, he's already not really equipped to take on a racing champion, a multi-racing champion from the first season of ROR SRPS, and then on top of that, he goes long to low in that first gap. It's going to slow him down and put him at a disadvantage early, and unless Grinder makes a big mistake, Infected will not be coming back here. And it is Infected with the big mistake, getting hung up on the ledge, and down he goes. Looking for a save, though. They do let him stay ignited here, stay firing. We'll see if he can. I don't think he's going to be able to catch up to Grinder. Grinder looking good on your right as he heads down onto the bottom floor, getting kicked a little all over the place through the dip and over those rollers. But we'll see if he can finish. He's awfully close to that finish line. It'd be a shame if he goes out now, especially with Infected so far behind. Infected up onto the bridge, trying to complete his lap. He's putting some effort in. But of course, he is a namped truck and a split differential namped truck at that, so the turning is just even worse than our typical namped experience. Grinder over the triple he goes, and headed to the finish line. He is on to round 2. Infected clips the wall on his way out, and down he goes. He's not going to save it this time around. Infected is done here in round 1. Man, it was just a rough race for Infected the entire time. Coming out next, Introvert, a solid truck that we've seen a few times on this track. Not bad at all. I believe he's made it up into the finals once before. Whiplash, I believe this is the first time we're seeing her at all in this qualifying window. She is a Werewolf node beam truck, so we'll see if the Werewolf truck can knock out the V4 here as we go green. Kicking off this race, it is all Introvert at this point, but you can never count out those Werewolf node beams, especially on this track, because you never know what the opponent could get into while they're going hard on this track, as you should, as you need to, in order to come out on top. Whiplash going long to low in that first gap, which of course slows her down, puts her at a disadvantage already, which is not good. But these Werewolf trucks excel in the turns, and we got a slalom first thing, and she makes up a lot of ground on Introvert heading into the double roller section. Introvert, the first one up onto starting elevation, but Whiplash is not in that sweet spot, but she's not too far behind to make a move, especially if Introvert ends up making a mistake. As we head up onto the bridge, it is all Introvert, nice and clean over the cars, not too big of an upset on that truck. Whiplash narrowly avoiding that center divide there. She could easily knock out a knuckle in that right rear if she clipped it, but she didn't. Keeps it clean, keeps it running, keeping it off the walls in the tunnel, nearly going into the wall, but keeps it clean through the rollers we go. It is all Introvert as we head into the gap on the bottom floor. He's going to go for it. Pretty solid landing, getting kicked up on the nose a little bit, but pulls it back down. Whiplash long to low in that gap as well, and coming around that elevated turn. Solid. I mean, she's having a decent pass. She did kind of get off to a bad start early on, which is mainly why she's so far behind. Introvert over the triple we go, and he's headed into round two here as Whiplash is all over the opposing lane heading into that triple section, and over the finish line she goes. Down goes Whiplash. Introvert on to the next one tonight. Yeah, I mean, that's you can never count the Werewolves out, but that went about how I expected it to go. Introvert, just a solid truck on this track, a solid truck in general when it comes to racing. Kraken coming out next on your right, taking on ScoobyDoo. Now, we've seen this Kraken quite a few times. This is that World Finals 22 Kraken, but we're going green here in round one. ScoobyDoo taking on the Kraken, going up and over that step up here on starting elevation. And it is neck and neck as we head to the Jackrabbit. Kraken a little bit of a lead and a better landing, I would say. ScoobyDoo taking a rollover approach, so she falls a little bit behind Kraken as we head into our first turn. Looking for the slalom here. Who is going to do it better? Can ScoobyDoo make up the ground she needs in order to come back as we head into the double roller section? Kraken looking good. A lot of experience on this track. I believe this version of ScoobyDoo has only been here once before, so not as much experience as a truck that's been here, and just this specific version of this truck that has been here 4 or 5 times now. So we'll see if the experience pays off for Kraken. It is so far, but ScoobyDoo is not a truck to be counted out. We do have, MonsterMut, Rottweiler, and Northern Nightmare in Season 2, and they are both rocking this node beam structure. So they could, a big slide in the tunnel doesn't help, especially when you're already behind. Kraken in the lead heading to the gap here on the bottom floor. Is there going to be a mistake? No. Kraken's going to go long to low, which does waste some time. And ScoobyDoo does go, shoots the gap, which, you know, she gains some ground on Kraken, but not enough for it to make a difference. Kraken just too far ahead after that massive mistake in the tunnel from ScoobyDoo. And as we head around our final turn, Kraken pretty clean. ScoobyDoo, a nice clean turn, but it doesn't matter. Over the triple and to the finish line. Kraken is on to round 2, knocking out ScoobyDoo here in round 1. It's an unfortunate break for that ScoobyDoo team. I know they wanted to make the transfer from Season 1 substitute to Season 2 main fielder. And I mean, there's still 3 more events to go. I mean, they could do it, but tonight, not going to happen, at least in our first bracket. MonsterMut coming out next on your right, taking on BroCamino. We have not seen BroCamino on this channel at all. And MonsterMut would be that original PEI and a Werewolf node beam. So we'll see if MonsterMut can hold it together in one piece until the end. BroCamino off to an early lead as we head over the Jackrabbit. MonsterMut is going to go for the gap, trying to clear it. Gets a relatively solid landing, but a crooked one. And that throws him off big time in that first turn. It is all BroCamino as we head into the slalom. But as I mentioned, with Werewolf node beam trucks, the slalom is where they get you. So, or turns in general are where they get you. We'll see if MonsterMut can make up some ground. Doesn't look too bad for MonsterMut right now, but we got a half a race to go, and BroCamino holds the lead right now. So I don't know if MonsterMut is going to be able to make it back, especially getting in trouble on that. MonsterMut down. Can he get a save? Letting it simmer too long. I don't know why he would let it simmer here in racing, and down goes MonsterMut in that starting elevation turn. BroCamino all by himself on this track, heading to the gap here on the bottom floor. Can he get a nice clean landing on that elevated turn? Let's check it out as he is debuting. We have not seen this truck at all, so this is my first interaction with this truck, getting to see how it drives, and he's doing well, putting down a solid run. Heading around the final turn, BroCamino in trouble, goes down. Does get a lucky save there, but that could have been a re-race here in our second to last episode. That would be our first re-race. BroCamino over the finish line, nearly blows it with a massive lead. But on to the next one, and showing off some skills moves at that. Should have pulled out a skills move in that final turn so he didn't end up upside down for a second, but got back on all fours, still running. On to the next one. EarthShaker coming out next on your right, taking on IceSkeleDragon. Now, we saw SceleDragon in Season 1 as a substitute, but just the regular SceleDragon, not IceSkeleDragon. He was our substitute on the Custom Chaos Tour that got not only a racing win, but a World Finals qualification, and did pretty well in racing and freestyle for his World Finals appearance. And he was a two-wheel skills competitor as well. So he was a solid truck. So we'll see. This is a NAMPS truck, though, the IceSkeleDragon. But EarthShaker, there we go. EarthShaker is a Werewolf node beam. So while we're heading through the slalom, it's looking good for him. But this is about as evenly matched as it gets for the NAMPS trucks. Just because of the downfalls that those Werewolf trucks can run into with the breakage, factor. Around that elevated turn, or the starting elevation turn for EarthShaker, and he's the first one onto the bridge. We'll see if IceSkeleDragon can tame that truck. A rough turn. Big slide from IceSkeleDragon as we head up onto the bridge. Now, he is just not getting it done here. EarthShaker with an early lead, and we are heading down to that. Oh no! EarthShaker goes down in the tunnel. IceSkeleDragon is all by himself now, coming onto the bottom floor, and that's what I'm talking about. This is his best opportunity to take a win, is those Werewolf node beam trucks. Just because they could get hung up like that, they can catch grip in a turn the wrong way, and they can go over like we saw MonsterMut do, like we just saw EarthShaker do. They could break and go out. Anything could happen in a race, and especially with those those Werewolf trucks. And IceSkeleDragon all by himself now, the NAMPS truck, moving on to round 2 tonight, and he is in trouble in that final turn. He's going to need to tame that seriously heading into the next round, because, you never know what can happen, but you want to cut down on all mistakes as much as possible. IceSkeleDragon over the finish line and on to the next one tonight. Nicely done. The only NAMPS truck so far tonight to get into round 2. We'll see if there is another one. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But for now, on to the next one. Let's head back up to starting elevation for our final race of round 1. BakuganDragonoid, Werewolf node beam on your right, taking on PureAdrenaline on your left. Now that is also a Werewolf node beam truck. We'll see who can come out on top here. It's going to be one of the Werewolf trucks. Who is it going to be? This is Bakugan's first time on this track, so, it's possible. But PureAdrenaline has the experience on him, so we'll see what happens here as Bakugan is flying over that step-up and taking a little bit of a rollover approach to the Jackrabbit. PureAdrenaline as well. A little bit of a sky wheelie from PureAdrenaline. It's all BakuganDragonoid right now, but he's wide in the turn. PureAdrenaline nice and tight. They are dead even heading into the slalom. Who is going to take it? This could be one of our closest races of the night so far. Through the slalom. Again, it is essentially dead even. They are neck and neck and heading, yeah. BakuganDragonoid, very slight lead. And he's crooked, getting up on a starting elevation. Dragonoid goes down and snaps that rear end, bends a forelink, and down he goes. No rear drive shaft anymore. PureAdrenaline all by himself and heading to the finish line. I guess that experience paid off because PureAdrenaline made it up onto that elevated start, or the starting elevation. Keep getting that backwards today. PureAdrenaline heading through the tunnel. Not too bad. Keeping it off the wall this time. Not snapping a wheel off or anything like that. Up and over that final roller. Kind of overshoots it. You do want to roll over that as much as possible. I mean, it's a fine line. You want to keep speed, keep momentum, but you want to roll over it so you get as much run up to that gap as possible. But, I mean, you got to give him a pass. He's a werewolf truck. He's not going to try and shoot the gap anyways. It's just too dangerous for those trucks. You take a big hit on the front end, you could snap a tie rod, or, I mean, you could completely knock a wheel off, but you could break the drive shaft, and then you're done if you got an opponent still on the track. But PureAdrenaline over the finish line, doesn't get hurt this time around. Nicely done. His first time out of round one. PureAdrenaline is on to the next one tonight. And speaking of on to the next one, let's take a look at our round two bracket here. Black Panther is going to take on Punisher in the Marvel matchup of round two. Grinder is going to take on Introvert. Kraken will face off against BroCamino. And IceSkeleDragon is going to close out round two, taking on PureAdrenaline. Now, that's another Namped truck versus Werewolf Node Beam. Very curious how that's going to go, especially after what we saw from, EarthShaker and IceSkeleDragon. Anything can happen. Every race is a new race, but is that a precedent that's going to be set here tonight against that Namped truck? Punisher versus Black Panther out now, and we're going green and heading to the step-up. Black Panther taking that rollover approach to the downside. Punisher flying over it and flying over the Jackrabbit as well. It is Punisher with a very slight lead. Black Panther got a smoother landing on that Jackrabbit, which gave him a better run-up to the gap, and in that process, he just managed to make up a little bit of ground. And he's not in the lead, but he's right there with Punisher right now. Punisher a big slide in that slalom turn. Looks like it might be Black Panther with the lead. No, dead even as we head over the double roller section. Both trucks getting great downsides on the landing. Coming through that starting elevation turn. Got it right this time. As we head down the ski hill, it is still Black Panther holding the lead, which is a shock to me. Black Panther is not a bad truck at all, but Punisher seems to be made for this track most of the time. It's a shock that he hasn't made it into Season 2 already, especially considering he made it up into the final round before. But it is all Black Panther right now as we head down to that final roller looking for the gap. Over the gap we go. Both trucks shooting the gap. I would say Punisher came off a little bit better there. Black Panther got up on the nose, had to set it down first before continuing. But it's still Black Panther holding a very slight lead on Punisher right now. And heading into the final turn, it is Black Panther coming out first. Very slightly. Very slightly. It is a close race to the line. And as we head to the finish line, Black Panther is going to hold it and move on to the semifinals tonight. Black Panther could be getting into Season 2, and that would be our next Marvel truck in. We just got War Machine and Spider-Man Miles Morales last week, and early on in our qualifying, we got Venom. So Venom, War Machine, and Spider-Man Miles Morales are all on the same tour, by the way, the Biggest and Baddest tour. So that's going to be a Marvel battle all season long. Introvert taking on Grinder now on your right. We'll see who can come out on top in this one. Both of these trucks go hard when it comes to racing. And heading down to the first floor, it is a dead tie right now. Over the gap we go. Introvert off to a very slight lead, but having to get that truck settled down in the turn. Grinder may have come back and reclaimed a little bit of a lead here. Big slide from Introvert. Grinder, not much better, but better. Coming out of the slalom now. Yes, Grinder in the lead over the double roller section. Introvert gets a better downside, though, and that might give him the perfect launch. It does, and he is making up the ground through that starting elevation turn. It is all Introvert right now, heading onto the bridge. Quite a race. They keep passing that lead back and forth, and they are still close. Grinder with a little bit of a slip there, a little bit of a bobble that slows him down even more, loses that sweet spot position. Anything could happen to Introvert, but he would need a solid mistake from Introvert if he wants to come back. Maybe on the gap. We've seen Introvert take a hard hit on the gap before. And not here, not this time. Grinder not bad himself, but Introvert just holding that lead through the elevated turn. Coming out of the chicane, it looks like it's all Introvert, but we still got one turn left to go. And I mean, hey, we've even seen some trucks make mistakes in that final straightaway, which could lead to a Grinder win here. But over the triple we go. Introvert nice and straight down that final straightaway. Over the final jump, it is all Introvert, and Grinder is done here in round 2. Introvert is on to our semifinals tonight to take on Black Panther. This is going to be an interesting final round. Of course, that's how these brackets are designed, to get down to the best of the best at the final 2 rounds. But this looks like it's really going to be, an example of best of the best of our first bracket here. BroCamino on your left, going to be taking on Kraken, and we're going green. Launching off that starting line, it's Kraken with a slight lead to get us started here. BroCamino comes back, headed to the Jackrabbit. Kraken a little crooked. That is going to upset that truck. BroCamino expanding his lead just a little bit, but we're still very early in this race. Anything can happen, and I want to clarify that, not clarify. I want to make that as clear as possible, that anything can happen in these races on this track. It's just so unpredictable. Anything can happen. The way you come out of the tunnel and onto the rollers can affect you. The way you land on the gaps, anything can affect your run and will affect your run if you let it. BroCamino in the lead right now, but we are just waiting for that slip for Kraken to make a move. Through the cars we go. Kraken getting a little upset in the air there, crooked, falling behind BroCamino even more. And as we look for a transfer in the tunnel, it's all BroCamino with a beautiful transfer. Kraken as well. Both trucks getting it done nicely. Kraken doing well, just not able to make up ground like he needs to. BroCamino getting into a little bit of trouble there. And a rough turn. Oh no. Kraken had a shot to make up ground. He does make up some ground, but BroCamino still a very slight lead, is neck and neck heading into this final turn though. When it all comes down to it, this final straightaway is it. It looks like it's BroCamino right now. Can he hold it? Over the finish line, he can. BroCamino is on to the next round. He is our next semi-finalist, our third and semi-finalist. BroCamino knocking out Kraken. A solid effort from Kraken this time around. He wants a season 2 qualification. We still got 2 more shows before my my requests come in for our final show, but anything could happen. IceSkeleDragon coming out next on your right, taking on PureAdrenaline. Now this is it. This is Nant versus Werewolf Node Beam. Can IceSkeleDragon hold on once again, or will it be PureAdrenaline making his first semi-final appearance? Down onto the first floor, pretty evenly matched. PureAdrenaline a slight lead, but IceSkeleDragon getting a beautiful downside on the Jackrabbit. He is going to have to go long to low in this first gap, which lets PureAdrenaline grab a beautiful lead with that downside on the gap. Heading into the slalom, this is all PureAdrenaline section right here. I don't think IceSkeleDragon is going to be able to make up much ground through this area. But it's not too far, not too distant of a race here. These two are pretty close. PureAdrenaline kind of getting a crooked leap up onto the starting elevation. Gets it done, though. IceSkeleDragon getting it done as well. Does clip the ledge there. Oh, rough starting elevation turn. PureAdrenaline expanding that lead once again on IceSkeleDragon. Looking for the tunnel now, that transfer into the tunnel for PureAdrenaline. Now this is where he struggles, and he does it again. Over goes PureAdrenaline in the tunnel, and he is done. Man, he is just one of the most consistent trucks when it comes to struggling through the tunnel. He just can't get it down, and a lot of times it's because he gets a sort of a sky wheelie, which he lands rear tires first, which knocks him forward and sends him closer to the wall than he really would like to be, and ends up in the wall most of the time. But this time, too far left, and he gets an awkward bounce to the right off of those rear tires, and over he goes. IceSkeleDragon coming around that final turn, a rough final turn there, but these NAMP trucks aren't the best with the turns, and getting a nice freestyle combo here on the triple. You know, we see a lot of long to lows through that triple, but not many freestyle attempts. So it's nice to see some more cars get crushed here as we head on to our next round. IceSkeleDragon fills that final spot. Let's take a look at our semi-final bracket for our first bracket of the night. Black Panther will take on Introvert, and BroCamino is gonna take on IceSkeleDragon. I've mentioned a couple times now, made it clear, anything can happen on this track, but when it comes to BroCamino versus IceSkeleDragon, I don't think there's any competition there. I think BroCamino has this one in the bag, but when it comes to competition, Introvert versus Black Panther is one of those races that could go either way. We're on that line stage and ready to go, and we're going green. Over the step up we go. Introvert taking a little bit of a downside approach there, a rollover approach to that step up. Black Panther getting kicked kind of sideways, an awkward landing. That slows him down a lot, falling behind Introvert already. Can he come back at some point in this race? Potentially here through the slalom if Introvert can get another big slide like we've seen him do before. Black Panther not bad. Getting right there with him, making up the ground he needs to make up. He's right in that sweet spot right now, but Black Panther gets in more trouble, having to get realigned for that starting elevation launch ramp. And it is all Introvert at this point. Can Black Panther come back? We got about half a race left to go, and I'm going to keep making it clear, I guess. Anything can happen. So we'll see if Black Panther can make up the ground, but Introvert, big lead right now. Ooh, but getting in trouble in the tunnel. Almost going into the wall there. Black Panther coming from behind, just so far at this point. Introvert clearing that gap. Getting in trouble. Black Panther coming from behind for real this time. But he's in his own trouble on that elevated turn. And coming out of it is all Introvert into the final turn. Can he keep that truck on all fours for this final turn? Absolutely he can. A great final turn from Introvert. Black Panther, a great turn as well, but he is too far behind for it to matter. Black Panther done. Introvert on to the finals tonight. Will we be getting another custom into season 2 tonight? Introvert, an awesome truck, a great racer. I could imagine a solid freestyler as well. We'll just have to see what happens as we head into the next round. BroCamino coming out next on your right, and he's taking on IceSkeleDragon now. I said it. I know I did. BroCamino, I think it's no contest here. I think it's all BroCamino to the finish, but we'll see what happens on this track as we go green for our final race of the semis. Over we go. Both trucks taking a rollover approach to that step up. It is all BroCamino right now, but he does overshoot that jackrabbit. IceSkeleDragon getting it done, but he's going to go long to low through this first gap. BroCamino nice and clean landing on that gap, and just expanding his lead as we head into the slalom. Big slide though. IceSkeleDragon really trying to tame that truck, especially here in the slalom for now, because this is where he could make up ground if he's more controlled. Then BroCamino does look like he made up a little bit, but it is still just a huge lead on IceSkeleDragon from BroCamino right now. Heading down that ski hill, catching some air from BroCamino. He's the first one up onto the bridge, looking good. Does get a little upset on those cars, but keeps it under control relatively well and keeps it off that center divide, heading back down to the first floor. Nice, clean transfer into the tunnel. IceSkeleDragon trying to get one, but they don't have the top end to the acceleration to the top end for that perfect transfer. BroCamino getting a nice clean landing on that elevated turn. It is all BroCamino. IceSkeleDragon having to go long to low in that gap. BroCamino all by himself heading into this final turn. Can he hold it together? IceSkeleDragon struggling. It's not going to happen. BroCamino over the triple and headed to the finish line. He is on to the finals. It is Introvert versus BroCamino in the final round. IceSkeleDragon going for another spin there. And, yeah, not going to happen. As I mentioned, man, it's just not, there's no contest from the beginning. I mean, you can see it coming from a mile away. BroCamino's been on fire all night. And when it comes to a Namp truck, there it is. Introvert is going to be taking on BroCamino. Introvert has had some incredible competition tonight with Grinder and Black Panther. BroCamino had his work cut out for him with potentially Kraken, but it just didn't happen. After a big mistake, he was able to recover and regain that lead on Kraken through that final turn. So, I mean, both of these trucks going hard tonight. And here they are right here. BroCamino versus Introvert going green for the finals. Off the line and over the step up. Introvert airing it out, taking a big hit on the front end, which could have got him into a lot of trouble. Could have put him out of this race early, but it didn't. He managed to save it. Got lucky. Can't really take chances like that in the final round. BroCamino a little bit behind Introvert right now, just due to a kind of a rough landing on that gap. But through the slalom, it's about neck and neck right now. Could go either way. Let's see who gets to that double roller section first. Looks like it's BroCamino. Yes, it is just slightly, though. It's neck and neck up onto starting elevation. Around that starting elevation turn, BroCamino just holding that lead, expanding it just a little bit more. He's going to get a better bridge section. Both trucks get it done solid, but Introvert gets crooked, heads towards that car, and he had to turn the truck, get it steered out of that, slows him down even more. BroCamino keeping it off the tunnel wall there, just narrowly. Introvert as well, but the inside wall. This is both of these trucks are having their own mistakes, but it's been BroCamino essentially from the start here since that slalom, so I don't know what's going to happen here through that final turn. BroCamino heading into it first. Can he hold it? Super tight around it. It is all BroCamino. Introvert is done here in the finals once again. BroCamino over the finish line. He is our next Season 2 qualifier. If you want to vote for what team he gets placed on, he is going to be on that All-Star Challenge Tour. Head over to Instagram this weekend, Saturday the 24th. He is going to be, you have the choice between Team Thunder and Team Mayhem, and he's going to get put on one of them. And the power is all in your hands, and the other followers who are also going to vote with you. Majority wins. It's going to be fun. Our final set of qualifiers, I believe we have 5 spots left total. We have 4 spots on Team Thunder and 1 spot on Team Mayhem. So this is your last chance for a Team Mayhem truck. BroCamino heading up to that starting elevation to get his glamour shot. He killed it tonight, knocking out everyone in his path with no hesitation, no mistakes. Well, few mistakes. And there's a look at your next Season 2 qualifier, BroCamino. We'll see him again in the All-Star Challenge Tour. And heading into our next bracket of the night. Of course, we always have 2 in these episodes. Next episode, we'll have 3 for the final to celebrate. And as a thank you, it'll be an extra long one with an extra bracket. But on to our second one for tonight. Big Kahuna has been here a couple times before, managing to come back tonight, looking for a spot in Season 2. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle CRD this time is coming around. We'll see if he can get up into Season 2. I would not mind that at all. Wolverine is coming back. Pretty Wicked. We haven't seen Pretty Wicked in a little while. We've only seen that truck once in the past. No Problem has been here twice before and has struggled to make it out of round 1. We'll see if he can do that tonight. Riptide is back. He made it up into the finals before and the semifinals after that in his 2 appearances here. So he is a solid competitor for that Season 2 qualification, and I would not mind at all. We got my Hot Wheels Junkyard Dog coming this time around. Son of a Digger we are going to skip because he got that 2-wheel skills championship and in the World Finals. So he already has an automatic bid into Season 2. He does not need to compete. And here's a look at your full lineup here. Let's shuffle this thing up 3 times and find our official seeds for our racing bracket in round 1. Round 1 is going to get started with No Problem taking on Slingshot, that Werewolf no beam truck. Tuna is going to take on Blown Money. Pretty Wicked will face off against 106.7, the Fox, the record holder for attempts on this track in this qualifying window. Misdemeanor taking on Whiplash. Wolverine is going to take on Double Trouble. Del Scorcho will face off against Overboard. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is going to take on Big Kahuna. And closing out round 1, we got Riptide versus Junkyard Dog. And this is another insane bracket packed with some big names and some awesome trucks. No Problem is going to come out first, taking on Slingshot. They're staged and ready to go, and we're going green to kick off round 1. Over the step up we go. Slingshot taking that rollover approach. It's No Problem right now, but we'll see. No Problem tends to have a lot of problems on this track. We'll see if he can fight those off tonight. Slingshot going long to low in that first gap, letting No Problem grab an early lead, even more so than he already had. Ooh, getting tripped up going into the slalom. That is a rare sight. We have not seen that very often. No Problem getting into some trouble before the slalom before he even gets in the slalom. Slingshot making up some ground there through the slalom, just slightly. But he is going to come up short on that double roller section, which is going to give him trouble getting onto starting elevation. He does get up there. Uh-oh. Looks like he has no power in the rear end. Lost the drive shaft. You can see it hanging down underneath that axle. That is, he's going for it. He's trying to get up there. And down he goes. A hard hit on that front end and on the rear end. Slingshot is done here in round 1 already. No Problem all by himself. This is going to be his first advancement out of round 1. His first time being in round 2. No Problem in trouble. And that is what I'm talking about. If Slingshot had been where he was supposed to be, that would have been his shot right there. A lot of trucks have been, well, he's been here twice, so 2 trucks have knocked out No Problem in the past just due to his struggle on this track. And tonight doesn't seem to be overcoming it, but does get lucky and gets a pass on to round 2. We'll see if he can tighten up some screws and, maybe go long to low in that gap. We've seen him struggle there a couple times. So the fact that he's still not learning the lesson to go long to low in that gap on the bottom floor, I don't know. We'll see if he learns tonight as we head into round 2, though. Tuna coming out next, taking on Blown Money. Now, we already have a Bad Company in Season 2, but Blown Money we haven't seen on this channel except for once here in the qualifying window. We'll see if he can do it tonight as we go up and over that step up. Tuna big hit on the nose, manages to get a save, but he is behind already as we head through this first floor. Blown Money perfect. Tuna perfect landing on that gap. Both trucks getting it done. And around that first turn, it's still Blown Money holding that lead. Tuna needs to not do that, not slide through the slalom if he wants to make up the ground on Blown Money. Another big slide. Gets spun around almost 180 degrees the wrong direction on this track, but gets a solid downside on that double roller section, though. Trying to avoid that dumpster. It's not going to happen. Tuna fighting some demons on this track tonight. He's never really had great performances on this track, but, you know, he's not having one tonight, that's for sure. Blown Money, the first one into the tunnel, does come up short for a transfer, nearly gets into trouble in the same area that PureAdrenaline did last bracket, but it keeps it safe, keeps it running, and he's headed to the gap. He's the first one there. Getting up there relatively well, does lose a lot of momentum. Tuna getting a big wheelie, having to stop the momentum to get that truck settled down on all 4 BKTs. It's all Blown Money heading into this final turn. Can he hold it together? Yes, he does. Nicely done around it. Over the triple we go, and to the finish line. Blown Money is on to round 2 tonight. Damn, we only got 4 spots left to fill, including this bracket right here. What I want you guys to do, because we're going to have a little break between our final episode and the votes. So tomorrow's going to be our final episode. Our votes are still going to be on Saturday this week. So I want you guys to really think about it. There's only 1 spot left on Team Mayhem and 4 spots on Team Thunder. Once all of our qualifiers are in and we get to our votes, I want you guys to really have it locked in your mind what your votes for these trucks are going to be. I want to see a wild voting session this weekend. Pretty Wicked over this Jackrabbit first for now, but 106.7 the Fox has made it up into the second round 3 times out of his 11 appearances here, and he's looking to do it again tonight. Pretty Wicked trying not to let that happen, holding the lead as we head into the slalom. A big slide from 106.7 the Fox through that first turn. Coming out of it, 106.7 the Fox nearly getting into trouble with that pitted disqualification. Both trucks overshooting the double roller section. Pretty Wicked kind of getting upset, but gets it settled down onto all 4 BKTs. 106.7 the Fox fighting to try and make up some ground as we head onto the bridge. Can he get a nice clean bridge section? Pretty Wicked doesn't. Gets essentially stopped by those cars. And 106.7 had a shot to make up some ground, but doesn't do too well with it. Looking for a transfer into the tunnel though. Not bad. Keeping it off the walls, which is good. Coming out real shallow on those rollers though, which sends the trucks a little upset into the dip. I don't think it's going to happen for 106.7 the Fox again, even though he got a perfect landing on that elevated turn. Pretty Wicked just too far ahead and too solid on this track tonight. Heading into the final turn, it is Pretty Wicked with the lead. Can they hold it? Yes. Beautiful turn. Both trucks getting solid turns, but Pretty Wicked all by herself. Over the finish line we go, and on to round 2 for Pretty Wicked. 106.7 the Fox, 11-3, or 3-11. Unfortunate. Whiplash coming back. We just saw her in the last bracket. She's already back, looking for more. And Misdemeanor, another first appearance on this channel. We're going green to get this race started, and it's Werewolf versus V4. Can the Werewolf stick it out this time around? She had her struggles last round, does kind of go for a butt kicker approach on that Jackrabbit, which isn't the cleanest landing, but it can work out for you. Doesn't necessarily for her. She does come up short on that gap. Misdemeanor looking good here so far. Big slide in that first turn of the slalom. Can that grip work for Whiplash here as we head through it? Looks like she's making up a little bit of ground. Not doing too bad. Right in that sweet spot right now as we head over the double roller. Both trucks getting beautiful downsides. Whiplash hangs up on that ledge of starting elevation there. Misdemeanor, a nice lead. That's all I can say. A nice lead so far. And nice and easy over the cars. Whiplash getting kicked a little all over the place there. Looking for a transfer. It's going to be Misdemeanor with a better one, most likely. No! No! Misdemeanor struggling. Whiplash struggling, but not as bad. Oh, well, there's another struggle. Keeps it off one wall, almost goes straight into the other one. Misdemeanor grabbing and holding that lead and almost a perfect landing there on that elevated turn. Whiplash, I don't think it's going to happen. Just too far behind once again. Coming out of the chicane, it is all misdemeanor heading to that final turn. Yeah, no, not going to happen for Whiplash this time around either. Does get a better final turn this time, but just not enough in this race to come out on top. Misdemeanor, big slap wheelie for a celebration as they head back up to starting elevation. Whiplash is going to go get put back in the hauler for tonight as we are done with her once again. Wolverine coming out next on your right, taking on Troublemaker. Now this is, I believe this is the first time these two have faced off. Definitely the first time they faced off as V4 versus V4. We usually have a breakable Wolverine when we come racing, but not this time. It is a V4 Wolverine. Nice air from both trucks. And as we head up and over the Jackrabbit, it's pretty neck and neck. Troublemaker, a very slight lead, but that only gets wider as Wolverine gets kicked a little crooked off of that Jackrabbit. Coming through Troublemaker with a big slide. Wolverine getting on the grip faster, I would say. I believe. No, it's Troublemaker still holding that lead on Wolverine though through the slalom. But coming out of it, who's gonna take it? Still Troublemaker coming from behind there. I saw that. Wolverine had a better entry, but got exit, but got kind of crooked, and it had to slow it down to get that truck aligned correctly. Troublemaker reclaiming that lead through that starting elevation, and it's a close one though. It looks like they're kind of trading it back and forth, and they're neck and neck here as we look for a transfer into the tunnel. Who's gonna get a better one? Oh, Wolverine getting in trouble through the tunnel. Troublemaker coming out of that tunnel first onto the bottom floor. Can he get a nice clean landing on this elevated turn? Oh, not too bad. Wolverine going long to low there. And yeah, it's gonna be Troublemaker coming out of the chicane and looking for the finish line. How's he gonna handle this final turn? Pretty solid. Nice turn. Wolverine not bad himself, just too far behind, and not gonna happen here in round one tonight. Wolverine is done. Troublemaker on to round two. Nicely done. Another little slap wheelie from Wolverine this time, even though he wasn't a winner. Sometimes you just got to give the fans a little show, and especially down there by the concourse where they're getting the closest view you can get to these monster trucks. Del Taco coming out next on your right, taking on Overboard. Well, Del Taco Del Scorcho, excuse me. And we're going to go green here for this race. This is an interesting one, classic versus new school. Once again, we've had a lot of these races on this qualifying window. We just saw one with Troublemaker versus Wolverine, although it wasn't as classic as, say, Del Scorcho. But up and over that gap here on the first floor, both trucks getting solid landings. Overboard getting a better one. He's already off to an early lead, though, since we got down off of that Jackrabbit. Del Scorcho trying to make up ground through the slalom. Looks like Del Scorcho might be a Werewolf node beam truck as well. I missed that when we were picking, when we were getting our picks. Over the double roller section. Del Scorcho overshoots it. He is going to have to get realigned here. Overboard getting essentially a free shot into round two. Can Del Scorcho come back? Will Overboard make a mistake? He does get kind of hung up on that center divide, but it's not enough to stop him. Del Scorcho just desperate to make up some ground here. I believe this is the third time we've seen Del Scorcho, maybe second. And this time it's a Werewolf node beam truck, so chances are only getting worse for Del Scorcho this time around in this qualifying window. Through the rollers, Del Scorcho not too bad, but it's Overboard with too big of a lead. A nice clean landing onto that elevated turn, but a rough turn. Loses it about halfway through that turn, but he's back on it through that semifinal straightaway and into the final turn. Overboard. Looks like he'll be moving on to round two tonight. Just not enough in the tank from Del Scorcho. And yes, Overboard is on to the next one. Del Scorcho looking for the finish line now. Solid landing on the triple. And over the finish line we go. Del Scorcho is done here in round 1. Not going to happen tonight. We'll see if he can come back. Only 2 events left for random picks. So we'll see if he can get picked randomly. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle coming out next on your right, taking on Big Kahuna. Our semi-final race of round 1. Who is going to come out on top? Big Kahuna has had some struggles on this track, but I can't say that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has been perfect either. So let's see what happens as we go green, headed for the step up. Big arc from both trucks. Big Kahuna getting into trouble. Turtles almost getting into trouble, but keeping it solid. It's Turtles with an early lead here through this first straightaway. Does come up short on that gap here on the first floor. Big Kahuna gets a better landing. But coming out of that first turn, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles just in the lead too early for Big Kahuna to fully make up that ground. Coming through the slalom. Turtles with a big slide. Big Kahuna not doing too much better. I can't say he made up much ground either. Both trucks getting beautiful downsides in the double roller section. Turtles the first one to the ski hill. It's looking good for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right now. Big Kahuna just struggling to make up the ground he needs. And with a rough bridge section, losing a lot of momentum there. I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, Turtles looks like he's free and clear here in round 1 to move on. Big Kahuna fighting that truck in the tunnel, manages to get it back down on all 4 BKTs. But that is just another thing working against him in this race. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles already coming out of that elevated turn. And yeah, even though Big Kahuna got a great landing in that elevated turn, looks like it's all Turtles here heading into the final turn. And with a beautiful one, Turtles is on to round 2 tonight. Over the triple we go, and to the finish line. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles knocks out Big Kahuna in our second bracket of the night. Nicely done. Big Kahuna just now getting across that finish line. We'll see if we can get an actual opponent for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for round 2. Speaking of our next opponent, let's find out who that will be with some intense racing in this to finish out round 1. Riptide on your right taking on Junkyard Dog. Junkyard Dog was a few points away from being our World Finals, our Throwback Tour sub entry into the World Finals last season. Came out as our first sub of the season, absolutely killed it. Was second in racing. You know, he was our runner-up in racing, and our I believe he was our runner-up in freestyle as well. He didn't take a win, but he was close. I can tell you that much. And Riptide, as I mentioned when we were looking at the bracket, he was a finalist before and a semi-finalist after that in his 2 appearances here. So this is quite a matchup for our first round. Riptide is having his own struggles this time around. Junkyard Dog looking nice and clean on this track. Riptide in even more trouble. It is not working with him tonight. Junkyard Dog all by himself in this race, essentially. He's looking for an opponent in the next round as well. Riptide not doing too well at proving that he's capable tonight. We know he is. We've seen him kill it on this track. It's just not happening for him tonight. Does get a beautiful transfer into that tunnel, but at this point, I don't think it's going to matter. Junkyard Dog flying over the gap, getting a perfect landing on that elevated turn. He wants to be a main field competitor for Season 2, and I got to say, I would love it. Riptide getting a solid landing on that elevated turn, but doesn't matter. He's too far behind. Riptide is done. Junkyard Dog over the triple we go and headed to the finish line. Junkyard Dog is on to round 2. He'll be taking on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that is another race that could potentially be a solid one, but this solid race didn't work out. What makes me think that one is going to? We just got to wait and see here as we head into round 2. Let's take a look at our round 2 bracket. No Problem is going to take on Blown Money. Pretty Wicked will face off against Misdemeanor. Troublemaker is going to face off against Overboard, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will face off against Junkyard Dog. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But every one of these matchups seems super fitting, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but the names of these trucks just seem to fit well together. No Problem, Blown Money, Pretty Wicked, Misdemeanor. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles taking on Junkyard Dog. I'm assuming I think that one works because they're two classic Monster Jam trucks. Of course, Junkyard Dog never competed. It was just a Hot Wheels toy, but they work. They work together. You know what I mean? The time period for those two trucks is just perfect match. Blown Money taking on No Problem as we head over the Jackrabbit. No Problem overshooting it with a big sky wheelie. That's going to upset the truck for the first gap. Blown Money getting an early lead here. He's upset heading into the first turn, but No Problem is having problems once again. It's just not going to happen for him on this track. That truck just struggles here for some reason. Blown Money already coming out of that slalom. No Problem trying to get over there. Blown Money in trouble, though. Nearly he gets into trouble getting up on the starting elevation. No Problem looking to get up there. Nicely done. Pretty solid. But he is he's far behind right now. Needs a lot to get up into first if he wants to. I mean, he could be happy with round 2. This is his first appearance in round 2. He's having more problems up on the bridge. Blown Money is all by himself on the bottom floor. Can he take an easy win here in round 2 and get up into the semifinals? No Problem gets a nice clean, relatively clean landing into the tunnel. But through the elevated turn, Blown Money just has this race on lock. And No Problem is going to go for that elevated jump once again. He's going to try and clear the gap, and doesn't work out for him. Does manage to keep it on all fours this time, but doesn't work out for him again. Blown Money over the triple we go, and he is headed to the finish line. Blown Money into the semifinals, our first competitor here in our second bracket, getting into the semifinals tonight, and getting an easy advancement in there. So we'll see if these practice laps are paying off. He's getting in some donuts. He's hype. He's ready for the next round. But No Problem having problems. Pretty Wicked coming out next on your right, taking on Misdemeanor. This is another one. I'm telling you, I think they just feel like they work together. Misdemeanor, Pretty Wicked. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Launching off the starting line and over the step up. This is probably going to be a solid race. Both of these trucks did great in round 1. Over the Jackrabbit we go. Pretty Wicked kind of getting crooked. Misdemeanor as well. But as Misdemeanor getting a more crooked landing, kind of getting hung up on the dumpster a little bit. Big spin from Misdemeanor as well. Pretty Wicked might be getting an advancement into the next round. We just got to watch and see here. Misdemeanor looks like she's making up some ground, though. I can't lie. She's not too far behind, and she's making quick work of that slalom as well, just like Pretty Wicked. And Pretty Wicked does get a better downside through the double roller section, so up onto starting elevation. We are rolling with Pretty Wicked right now. Nicely done over the cars. Misdemeanor as well. Not as clean as Pretty Wicked, but getting it done. And trying to make up some ground. Pretty Wicked's getting into the wall, though. Oh, man. That was a hard hit right on the side of the cab. So, yeah, they are going to shut off Pretty Wicked. We are done with Pretty Wicked. Misdemeanor all by herself on the bottom floor. Getting a relatively clean landing on that elevated turn. Getting into trouble after, though. Misdemeanor coming through the chicane and looking for that final turn. Can she get a nice clean one, or will we have our first re-race of the qualifying window? No, a solid turn from Misdemeanor. Over the triple we go, and we are looking for the finish line. Misdemeanor on to the semifinals. She'll be taking on Blown Money. That one doesn't work as well. Blown Money and Misdemeanor does not work like Misdemeanor and Pretty Wicked. Overboard taking on Troublemaker. I believe this is the same truck. I think Overboard is the node, or the base for this truck, in game at least. But we'll see who can come out on top here as we launch off that starting line. Over the step up we go. Overboard with a big sky wheelie. Troublemaker getting a beautiful downside on that little transfer ramp onto the first floor. Looking for another transfer here. Solid downside on that gap. It's Overboard with a better one. Troublemaker just with an early lead right now, so he holds it as we come out of this first turn. And heading into the slalom, Overboard making up some ground, but a big slide. He might have lost it already. Troublemaker looking for the double roller section. Pretty clean downside. Overboard as well. This is quite a race so far. These two are close on this track. And it is Overboard who manages to grab a lead with a better turn on starting elevation. Big leap from Troublemaker. Both trucks getting it through with minimal problems. Troublemaker, I would say, was a little too squirrely, but I mean, he's not too far behind. He's right near that sweet spot, essentially in it. And coming onto the bottom floor, this could be a close one. He's going to get a better landing through the bottom floor gap. Solid. Troublemaker losing a lot of momentum. He's already behind. That does not help him here. Overboard coming out of the chicane and looking for that final turn. It looks like it's all Overboard. Around that final turn we go. Yes, Overboard is on to the semifinals. He knocks out Troublemaker here in round 2. Not going to happen for Troublemaker this time around, unfortunately. But Overboard is one step closer to a Season 2 qualification. Can he get it tonight? Not a bad pass at all from either truck. I mean, Troublemaker did have his mistakes and, you know, fell farther behind, but wasn't a bad pass. He could have beat somebody with that. It was solid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out next, taking on Junkyard Dog. And I just want to watch and see what's going to happen, so no more talking. Let's see what goes on here as we go green. Over the step up onto that first floor. It's Turtles with an early lead. Junkyard Dog comes back and reclaims the lead with a better landing on the Jackrabbit. That loud truck that you hear, that's Junkyard Dog. That sound matches that truck perfectly. That just looks like a truck that wants to yell at you. Oh, Turtles nearly falling into the pit of disqualification. Manages to save it, but that puts him at a major disadvantage here early on in this race. We still got over half a race to go, so we'll see if Turtles can make up some ground here. But Junkyard Dog is off to a nice early lead, comfortable lead on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. He can make a mistake and still be able to hold that win into that advancement into the next round. We just gotta watch and see what happens here as we head into the tunnel. Junkyard Dog solid. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles solid as well. Turtles is determined to make up some ground. It's not happening super well, but he's putting in the effort. I'll tell you that much. Oh, Junkyard Dog in trouble. He's going long to low. Turtles going for the gap. Big hit. Big bounce, I should say. And it's still Junkyard Dog with a lead as we come out of that chicane. Looking for that final turn. Now, anything can happen here. Junkyard Dog could roll the truck. Is he going to, though, is the question, and it doesn't look like it. Both trucks get beautiful turns. It's close, but not close enough. Junkyard Dog has the lead, and over the finish line we go. Junkyard Dog grabs that final spot in the semifinals. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles gave it a solid effort, and when it comes down to that final straightaway, he was pretty close, but just not close enough. Turtles is done. Blown Money is going to take on Misdemeanor to kick off the semifinals, and Overboard will face off against Junkyard Dog to close out the semifinals. And I don't know, man. If I was picking trucks to win or to get into the finals, I would like to see Blown Money versus probably Junkyard Dog because I made it. But we got to see what happens here. And I'd love to see Junkyard Dog into season 2. So let's see what's up. Blown Money on your right, taking on Misdemeanor. We're going green to launch the semifinals. Over that step up we go. Blown Money's gonna use those rear tires to guide that truck down onto the first floor. Misdemeanor getting a better landing. Crooked in that first straight, which gets her into trouble here. Trying to get a save, but down she goes. Very early in this race. It is all Blown Money at this point. Can he get across the finish line, or will we have to rerun it? Misdemeanor goes down. Blown Money coming through that slalom, looking for the double rollers. Nicely done. Solid downside. He's going to need this practice for the final round. He's not a bad racer. He hasn't done bad all night, but the final round is a totally different beast. There's a lot of pressure that comes in with, the season 2 qualification on the line. Obviously, it's on the line all night. Every race, you're competing for that season 2 qualification, but when it comes to the final round, that is it. That is a make or break moment for you, and you need to win. And wow, what a save from Blown Money. That obviously doesn't, I can't say it doesn't help with training for the final round, because it shows you what not to do, but it's definitely something you want to avoid in the next round. Blown Money coming out of that chicane and looking for the final turn. Solid practice lap, except for that big mistake here on the bottom floor. A bit wide in that final turn. He's going to need to tighten that up. He's been on it all night, but here in this semifinal round, he just loses it. Gets in the marbles a little bit, big slide, and yeah. On to the next one for Blown Money. Misdemeanor, an unfortunate loss, but down she goes, and that's just how the cookie crumbles. Blown Money into the final round. Overboard coming out next on your right. He'll be taking on Junkyard Dog. Very interesting race. There's another one I just want to watch and see what happens. We're going green for your final race of the semifinals. Nicely done. Junkyard Dog absolutely airing it out. Overboard using that same guided approach that a Blown Money just used. And they are neck and neck, looking for a clean landing. Overboard gets into trouble. That's going to slow him down here in this first turn, and a big slide as well. Junkyard Dog grabs an early lead. Can he hold it the entire race? Heading into the slalom. Overboard, no slouch. He's making up some ground. Definitely doing what needs to be done if he wants to get back up in the lead. I wouldn't say he's in that sweet spot yet, but he's right there. Junkyard Dog heading around this starting elevation turn. He's out wide, big wash. Overboard catches up. They are neck and neck, looking for the bridge. Who's going to get a better pass through the cars? I would say it was Overboard. Junkyard Dog does get to the ground first, though, which he could put the power down sooner. But it's Overboard leading, heading into the tunnel. Both trucks getting an awkward bounce. Overboard on 2 wheels. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Junkyard Dog reclaims the lead. These two are trading that thing back and forth. Who is going to come out on top? Junkyard Dog using his ability to get a perfect landing on that elevated turn. Overboard trying to get it done. It's just not happening for him tonight. And around that chicane, Junkyard Dog fully in the lead right now. Can he hold it around this final turn? Absolutely he can. Another perfect turn from Junkyard Dog. I gotta say, it's looking good for Junkyard Dog tonight. Heading over the finish line, Junkyard Dog is going to the finals. Can he get into season 2? I said it already, but I'm saying it again. I would love it. I gotta see this truck in season 2. It would make me so happy, especially to be on the All-Star Challenge Tour. What a better way to do it. And I could see Junkyard Dog getting onto Team Mayhem. That'd be a nice fit. But into the finals, Blown Money taking on Junkyard Dog tonight. I believe this is Blown Money's most difficult race of the night. You could argue it was supposed to be Misdemeanor, but with the way that Junkyard Dog performs, this is going to be his hardest opponent to beat. And I don't know if it's going to happen, man. Junkyard Dog is on point tonight. Both trucks on that starting line, staged and ready to go. We're going green for the finals. Over that step up we go. Both trucks airing it out. Junkyard Dog getting even more air than Blown Money. It's Blown Money leading to the Jackrabbit, but coming off of it, Junkyard Dog grabs a slight lead. Wow, look at this race. These two are neck and neck. Two different approaches to this track, and they are both killing it. And we are in a pretty even race right now. Coming out of the slalom, it's Blown Money in the lead. Down that double roller section, both trucks getting beautiful landings. Who is gonna come out on top? Blown Money holding that lead through starting elevation. Can he hold it into the tunnel? Or out of the tunnel, I should say. Can he hold it out of the tunnel? Because that tunnel gives a lot of trucks problems. Blown Money getting a decent landing. Junkyard Dog's in trouble, though. Not a good sign for Junkyard Dog. Blown Money looking for a clean landing. We know Junkyard Dog can do it. Blown Money had problems. Junkyard Dog looking to come back. Out of that chicane, it is just about neck and neck. Blown Money a very slight lead. Can he hold it through this final turn? Wow, what a turn from Blown Money, and he holds the lead as we head to the finish line. Blown Money is into Season 2, narrowly knocking out Junkyard Dog here in the final round, but he does it. He is our next competitor in Season 2 and on the All-Star Challenge Tour. If you want to vote for what tour what team he gets placed on, Team Thunder versus Team Mayhem, head over to Instagram this Saturday to place your votes. Think about it. We already got, who'd we get? We got Blown Money and we got BroCamino tonight. So think about, there's only one spot on Team Mayhem. Is it going to be one of these two trucks? We got 3 more coming tomorrow. Think about it, guys. Think about it. Blown Money looking for his glamour shot here, and with an awesome night of racing, he's earned it. Especially knocking out Junkyard Dog, he earned it. Blown Money on to Season 2. Thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed. Hit the like button for me. Leave a comment. Let me know your favorite part. If you, what was your favorite upset of the night? Whatever. And be sure to check out Dubby with 10% off using code RORSRPS. Thank you guys again so much. I will see you guys tomorrow for our final episode of Season 2 Qualifier.